Hello. My name is Extra Fresh, and this is a somewhat unusual video for me where I try to get you to build us some cool tricks for factory cards. I have recently joined the Coffee Cup Studios Discord server, link in the doodly-doo, and what we are trying to achieve is to build Deep Dip from Trackmania fame in Satisfactory. Basically, it's a very long, very tall challenge tower that is currently still under construction, as you can see, that will require you to take a factory cart and drive it past an obstacle course, winding its way through the tower all the way to the top. And we are inviting everyone, including you, yeah, that's you, to build us some levels. And this video will first go over a little bit what we're trying to do, and then I will get into the nitty-gritty of how to build a level, what it requires, and why it is so much fun to do so. Alright, let's go over our project's timeline. 2 weeks from now, which will be October 15th, we close our submission window for levels. That's the thing I am trying to recruit you for right now, so please stay tuned. 2 weeks after that, on November 1st, we will open up our servers hosted by Indifferent Broccoli. Thanks very much for that. And we will invite the general public to try their hand at completing the tower climb, including, maybe, hopefully, your level. Separate from running the servers, we will also release the map as standalone so you can run it on your own computer and try your hand at getting up the tower as fast as possible. We will run this side of the event as basically a speedrunning competition. The details on that are to be decided, so stay tuned, watch this space. Alright, let's get stuck in. Here's my face. Let's go and give you a bit of an impression of what it will be like to play this map. So you spawn in, you exit the hub, and down here there is a dispenser which will give you an infinite number of carts. You build it, wait for the hatch to open, and you get in. From this point on, you're not allowed to leave the cart. You stay in it all for the entire climb. And you just drive along the obstacle course. You drive up here and you drive to the next one, etc., etc. And you try your best to keep driving up, but at some point you're going to mess up and end up in the water. At which point you will leave your cart behind, go back to the hub, grab a new one, do another attempt, rinse, repeat until you make it all the way up. One thing I'd like to define before we get you to build your level is actually what is a level. This tower is going to have a bunch of them. We're going to fill them with levels, and a level is basically one section of tower, and you're going to see there that's the bounding box for it. We'll get into that in a bit. So one level is one set of obstacles filling that boundary to get from one corner to the next, and then be able to climb back up. So it's a course that sits inside one section. So you will get one section of the tower. This example level here is an example of what one level would look like. Don't get intimidated by how good it looks, by the way, because this is Excited at work. He's just too good of a builder. He can't help it either. Don't blame him. So this is a very good example of what a level could be like. If you have other ideas, feel free. Let's get into how you get to build your own. To that end, we have a blueprint, rather large one, with a template. This template, I'm just going to put it down right there, made a little space for it, is a bounding box. This is your playground. This is the size of a level. If you build it exactly in here, it will fit exactly inside of the tower. So the idea is we're asking everybody to build in their own worlds this blueprint, at which point you can build your level in here. Send us the save file and we will use Satisfactory Calculator to extract that as a megaprint and then put it inside our tower, stack it all up, make it into one cohesive whole. That's the plan. So what do we need from you to make this level work? Number one, it speaks for itself, but hands and feet inside of the carriage at all times in this fun ride. You have to build inside this bounding box. So nothing goes outside of this box so it doesn't stick out of the tower. Simple enough, I would say. The size of this blueprint, by the way, is 15 foundations in a square, and it is 40 meters in height. Rule number 2. Your save file, your submission has to work when loaded in a unmodded version of the game Satisfactory. So you can use mods like Infinite Nudge and Perfect Circle to build your level, but do test it without any mods loaded. Number 3, the start and the finish is in the corner. I showed you the jump pad in the corner of the example level. It is this thing. Notice that it is outside of your bounding box. So this is the jump pad from the level below you. The reason we have it here is now we can test it. If you jump, you follow this trajectory and you land it right here. The cart's trajectory is pretty much the same as the engineer, by the way. So yeah, once the cart crosses this threshold, they're basically yours to do with whatever you like. So you can catch them on the upswing if you want in your level. We would recommend having like a little bit of a moment where they land and they can look at your name. But yeah, the start is in this corner. The end of your level is in one of the 4 corners. This being a square, we can always rotate the next one to match it. So you can pick whichever corner you like as a finish. But it has to be one of these 4 corners, one of these green foundations. Leave the green foundation in as well to make it super clear what the intentions are. Rule number 4 and the last one, your final submission needs to be open in character. And what does that mean? Well, first of all, when you look at it from the side, look at all the sight lines going through, you can look right through it. That means you can see all the carts moving, and the tower as a whole gets a bit of a cohesive look that way. So make sure that that is the type of scene that you build in total. Secondly, when you look at it from the top, notice as well that there are massive gaps everywhere. When a cart comes falling down from above, it needs to have a good chance of missing your level and falling right through all the way to the bottom. Or it can be lucky and catch on one of the obstacles that you've built and continue their way from there. There is one rule that trumps them all, which is the rule of cool. If something is just very cool, if you have a very good idea that needs to break the rules a little bit, come to us. We can always like talk about it, figure it out, find a way to make your idea work. So yeah, all of this is meant to be cool. So if your idea is cool and it breaks the rules, you might be able to get away with it. There's a couple of things that we are looking for in a good level. Let's go over them so that your build has the highest possible chance of making it into the tower, getting its own slot in here. First of all, this is very subjective, but your build, your level has to be fun to drive. It has to just be a fun challenge. And this can be achieved in several ways, but a good exhibit here is that, well, there's a lot of things to see visually, but also there's a good mix of challenges going a jump, then a balancing, then a little climbing, and go a little inside, a little outside, driving on top of the crane. So there's a good amount of variety here, which will make it just fun to do. Secondly, it has to be performant. Again, a little subjective, we're not going to put a hard limit on this, but if you build something out of 80,000 pillars, then you can rest assured that it will slow down every computer on Earth trying to run it, which means we can't put it in the tower. Very simple. Again, if you're in doubt about any of this, hit us up on Discord. We can work with you to, get within acceptable ranges. Third, your level has to be difficult. Now, difficulty again can be overdone, but finishing the entire tower should be a very, very daunting, very rare occurrence. So, yeah, it's okay for you to have very difficult challenges inside of your level. At the same time, make sure that if it is difficult, then yeah, your players will have had a little bit of practice doing an easier version of that same jump, or they can try it multiple times, because if they fail, they don't fall all the way down. You catch them, and they can bring them back to the start of that trick. There's all kinds of different things you can do to mitigate difficulty, but we don't want to shy away from it too much. Fourth, and I'm going to use I'm going to use this spot here to explain the fourth thing, which is fairness. If I can get into this card, it's falling down. Everything here is silly, so bear with me. There we go. So, players coming up here will just want to follow that road to the end, right? But there will be a warning sign saying don't go here. There will be a little suspicious green light there, and there will be an alternative route with a sign saying go there. Any player who ignores all of that definitely deserves their fate of being thrown right out. Now, that's actually a good lucky landing, and you can try again. But any player who deserves all of those warning signs, they deserve to be thrown out. They deserve to fall into the trap. If you don't have those warning signs, any player who comes here the first time, they will always drive into it, and it's just knowledge that will stop you from falling for the trap. That's unfun. So make sure that it is fair, that anybody who does fall for the trap will instantly blame themselves and not the mapper. That's the benchmark there for fairness. Finally, before we wrap all of this up, I'd like to give you a few tips and tricks to get you started on building your perfect level. First of all, most importantly, join our Discord. Again, links down below. Make sure that you hook up with us. There's a lot of different people there, pretty much building around the clock. And there's always people to help you and just build and test together. It's a lot of fun. Join our Discord, really. Secondly, if you need a bit more breathing room, that can be arranged. Now, obviously, the tower is as wide as it is, so if you want to go sideways, you're SOL. Can't do that. But you can raise it up a little bit higher. You can either, this standard blueprint is a bounding box of 40 meters in height. You can always extend it up to 60 meters or 80 meters. Make sure that it is in those increments so that we can work and build the tower a little bit more coherently. But go ahead and raise that ceiling up by 20 or 40 meters if you do need it. Raising up these by 40 or 20 meters also is very important to do exactly. The best way to do that is grab a wall, build 5 of them, copy this, and place that there so that you have raised it up exactly 20 meters. 10 walls for 40 meters, obviously. So that's a good way to give yourself some breathing room should you need it. Thirdly, how to actually build the full level. Once you have an idea, it might not be able to fill the level out completely. There's 2 ways to go about it. First is to just build separate islands and fill it up a little bit, and then lay out a path between all of those, and then decorate the whole thing. That works for some people. Some others actually work the other way around. Like Excited, who built this level, he picks a theme first and builds a whole bunch of assets, and then sprinkles those around, then lays a path for the carts to go through it. whichever way works for you best. But you know, let's say you want to build a circus themed level. You build the circus tent, then you build like a few wagons here, maybe an animal pen, and then okay, what else can we build here? Oh, a ticket booth, right? If you have a theme, you can easily fill it up. Things like that. So make sure that you do that. Again, in Discord, people will always go yes and have more ideas for you should you need them. Last, I would like to go over a couple of buildables to get you started with some ideas. Again, if you go through the build menu, line by line, there are so many things here that can be surprisingly cool as a thing for your cart to work with. You can have a train station and drive on the walkway on the train station. There's all kinds of things you can do, but give you some ideas. The fun thing is, when you have a wall with a conveyor hole in it, you can drive straight through it. If you put the conveyor wall hole, that doesn't work. So yeah, keep that in mind. There's obviously the cart is very small, so you can use very small buildables to drive on. A beam is plenty big to drive on. If you want to make it a little bit more challenging, give that beam a little bit of a tilt so that it's scary to drive on. You can even grind a cart Tony Hawk styles across a rail like this, but you can't really drive on it. So this is an example of a stunt that may or may not work. It doesn't in this case. Jump pads. Jump pads are very, very cool for carts to use, but getting up to them is a little bit tricky. So, as a result, the best way to build a jump pad is actually to go into nudge mode, hold control, and nudge it down 1/2 meter. Now, and you can also note that you can also adjust the trace of that. If you hold control, you can even do fine adjustment. So lots of things you can do with jump pads, and when you place it 1/2 meter down from the level that the cart is driving on, it will always engage. Very useful. Glass frame foundations. Very surprising. Looks normal, huh? All of that looks normal, except glass frame foundations act as ice. They slide, and it's a slip and slide. It's very difficult to control the cart on there. Let's put it back. If I drive on there and hit the brakes now, it just keeps going, and it's difficult to get momentum on there. It acts very differently from normal foundations. So you can use those to catch players out or to have a nice drifting challenge. All up to you, but a good material to use. Last but not least, we can do loopings. Loopings are cool, loopings are fun, and you can, at a very short runway, have your cart go all the way around. Oh, I messed that up again. I may not be the best driver around here, but oh, there we go. Yeah, you get the idea. The last thing I'll say is just messing about with the cart in a level that you've already built can yield some very interesting things. Like this you might be, it might look impossible to climb up there, but if you just drive fast enough and hit a corner, up we go. Oh, I messed that up. Let's try that try it again one last time, or you'll just have to take my word for it. It is possible to get out of here if you just don't mess it up. Oh, we'll keep going until we hit that corner, shall we? There we go. So just messing about with the cart can give you some good ideas for stunts as well. That's all I have. Guys, again, I'm going to say it one more time. Join our Discord. build us a level, help us fill this tower, and make yourself immortal as part of this fantastic project. Thank you, and see you for the next video.